So, 2011, I started my PhD, and like Diana said, it was on game-based development, and then I switched to MOOCs. This was before New York Times mentioned that 2012 was the year of the MOOCs. If you are familiar with the concept, we will discuss in a moment, but maybe you know that MOOCs were considered the main disruption of education. It was the, let's say, a scarecrow of brick and mortar universities. They said MOOCs will come and all traditional education, higher education will disappear and everyone will be online. This didn't happen. The hype went down. The pandemic came, the hype grew back up, then it grew back down when we started to meet again face to face. But now AI is the real scarecrow of higher education, traditional systems. But I also want to point out that MOOCs still remain very important, and you can get a lot of information out of them and a lot of different ways of learning from them, and also to do your research regarding this topic. So, first we will start with Menti, and I'm just asking Diana, will you switch to the results? Okay, so first of all, have you ever taken a MOOC? Disclaimer, MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Courses, if you still don't know about it. There are basically a lot of platforms. I have slides with the definition afterwards, but I wanted to start with this question just so I feel the room, so that I know how many of you actually went and did a MOOC. You will see some questions. It's maybe you've done it without finishing it, maybe you've never done one, or you completed it and got a badge. Could we see the results? Diana?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, I'm stopping my share. So let's see. Okay. Never heard of it. Okay. But sounds cool, right? MOOC. It's something you would like to try because it has a fun name. Okay, so we have quite a split room between people who have done at least started the MOOC, or people who never went into it. Many of you didn't hear about it. As I said, 2012 was the year of the MOOC. It was very huge. And actually now it is an industry which is up to more than $20 billion worldwide. And the estimation for 2030 is it will grow 10 times, so to $200 billion. Because we will see that one of the O's in the definition changed a little bit. Okay, I'm going to share again my presentation. Okay. Oops. Then, a second Menti. We have 3 Mentis in a row. Give one word that you associate a MOOC with. For those who never heard of it, maybe you've heard what I said about the definition. Try to see which of those four words is most close to what you would associate it with. And for the others, of course, be more creative. So I hope we won't see only the 4 letters of the acronym in the results. You can replace me replace the presentation, I mean, whenever you are ready. I'm hurrying you a little bit because of the time constraints and because I don't want to be the one standing in the way of the group photo and the lunch. So learning seems to be the word which is most common, open, free. We will discuss about this free concept. Online, course, digital. Okay, so many. We have a lot of interesting words, skills, and this is the next one.
I just changed.
Ah, okay. I thought it was by mistake.
Yeah, because you said that it's also another one.
Yeah, yeah. So now let's see which of the platforms which are usually associated with a MOOC did you follow a course on? Or let's say even if you didn't follow a course, maybe you skimmed through it, you scanned through the platform and you saw what are the available courses. And it seems that Coursera is something which most of you heard of, those here and those online, but also Udemy, edX, and FutureLearn, but also Khan Academy, which was, by the way, which started as a platform for K-12, so for smaller students, younger students, not smaller, sorry. But also some of you heard about Udacity and EDX. I'm surprised that nobody has heard of Iversity. Iversity is one of the biggest European platforms. It's done by Germans, and I'm going to also show you a very nice course on it, which you can follow afterwards. Okay, so it seems that we have two clear winners, Coursera and Udemy, and I'm happy that you at least know these. I'm going to switch again to my presentation. So we get to the definition. For those of you who never heard of a MOOC, this is what a MOOC stands for, Massive Open Online Courses. And it actually means that, let's take each of these words. Massive, it means that most of them don't have a limitation of the enrollment. You can get to courses which have tens of thousands of students, and this was the hype when the MOOC started. There was a very popular course on AI and another one on programming done by Stanford and MIT. They were on Udacity and EDX. Those were one of the first platforms. They were extremely popular. Some were even more than 100,000 students. And remember, this was not in the pandemic, so people were not forced to do online education. Also, open usually was understood by free or low cost and accessible to all backgrounds. The free part or low cost still applies partially because these platforms identified that they also need a business model, so they started to ask for money for different things. Mostly they ask for money not necessarily to take the course, but if you want to get a diploma out of it, a certificate, a micro-credential. And you can follow the course, but you cannot do the activities and get the diploma if you don't pay. Then the business model changed again, and some platforms are now asking for money even to just to enroll and follow the course. But if we look overall, the principle of being free or low cost still remains. The accessibility to all backgrounds still counts because the concept of MOOCs was that everyone should join. It doesn't matter where you are from, what is your background, what are your skills. There were some recommendations, what you should know, some pre-requirements before joining a course, but even if that was just a recommendation. If you didn't have the knowledge, you could still participate, but be aware that it will be more advanced for you. Of course, the online and course parts are the ones which remain. These courses are fully digital, and the course part, they are structured learning materials with clear outcomes. These are some of the most popular platforms, and maybe you recognize some of the logos. You already saw in the Menti about Coursera, EDX, Iversity, Udacity, Udemy. But there are also some others here which maybe are familiar with you. For those in the French-speaking countries, FUN is the France Université Numérique is the platform done by the French, and it is very popular the most popular platform in French. Myriada X is a platform which is done by the Spanish, and it's also on the engine of EDX. So they worked with EDX and developed this. But there are also other platforms which you can see here. Codecademy, for example, is for programming. It's more dedicated. There are you don't need to know a lot of things about the theory of MOOCs, because I don't think that anyone from here is doing a PhD on MOOCs. So I only want you to remember some things. This is a theoretical part. There are two specific types of massive open online courses: X-MOOCs and C-MOOCs. The X-MOOCs stand for Extensive Massive Open Online Courses, and they are usually platform-based, platform-oriented. They are academic-oriented. You can imagine just a traditional course which is moved fully into online like it was in the pandemic, and there are not very much differences in ways of pedagogic methodologies which are implemented. It's just technology which is in the center. The assessments are more or less the same with traditional education, and the way in which you do the course is linear. So you follow one module and then the other and so forth and so on, having a short assessment or quiz between them. The CMOOCs are, however, the ones which are a little bit more different and interesting. They were the ones which started the movement of MOOCs. They stand for Connectivist MOOCs, and they are more towards the community. When this happened in, I think it was 2008, there was a course on the Connectivist MOOC. George Simmons and, help me, George Simmons and Stephen Downs, thank you, were the ones, the teachers who started this. And it was very interesting because it offered the students the possibility to connect, to do network, to study in non-linear way. So they moved through the modules however they liked. It was more peer-founded. It was more with peer assessment than the traditional ways of assessing. And it was based on OERs and also on X-MOOCs content. However, this was not as popular as the extended MOOCs, and these courses didn't have so many participants. And of course, because this is not a business model, it didn't remain as popular. There are still some, I wouldn't call them necessarily fans, but people who are very passionate about connectivism as a pedagogy, and they are still following this type of platforms. There are some features which are very important for the MOOC platforms. The content is usually interactive. You have video modules, so this is something you will find in all of these courses. You have readings, you have hands-on modules which engage learners, and the content is usually designed in a self-paced discovery. So the students can just follow it on their own time and on their own pace without some time constraints. Usually, sometimes there are some time limits. The assessment tools are usually online quizzes, but for the automatic grading, but they also have peer assessment, which is encouraged. So even if you have some very quick feedback method of the online quiz, you also have the peer assessment for a bigger project where not only the teacher is assessing, but also the students between each other. The community learning is very important in MOOCs because there are a lot of discussion forums where different topics of discussion is promoted, and students learn through the different perspectives of each of their peers. And finally, the technology behind it is cloud technology, because the LMSs like Coursera, the learning management systems like Coursera and edX, they have seamless experiences. So they should work very quick, and you shouldn't encounter technical problems. That's why they can be scaled to millions of users. I mentioned the money, but I also want to mention that now there are some hundreds of millions of users around the world doing MOOCs. An important part of the MOOCs is the credential which you receive at the end, and I just want to show you some examples of what we have been doing in some of our projects. So the idea is that when you finalize a MOOC, you usually get a certificate, and initially it was a digital badge which then was promoted to a micro-credential, which then was promoted to a stackable micro-credential. Let me just very quickly move through this. So a digital badge basically meant that you finished a course and you could add it in online passport, you could add it on LinkedIn or another platform like that, or put it in your private portfolio or business portfolio. But then micro-credentials appeared, and these are offering ECTS, which can be added also to your official transcripts, depending on the regulations of your countries or of your institutions. Then they also said that, okay, but what if we can we can mix some of these courses, and you can build with these micro-credentials until you reach a certain amount of ECTS, which can offer directly a diploma. And this happened, and you will see on Coursera and other platforms, these sort of packages of courses, which if you do all of them, you get a micro-credential from each of them, and you can stack them up into a diploma, again, depending on the legislation in each of the countries and the institutions, how they acknowledge this. This is an example from the DigiCulture Erasmus Plus project, which we have been involved with other partners. And this is usually how a badge is looking. What you don't see are also the metadata behind it, because now when we talk about micro-credentials, we talk about metadata behind them, and they are usually linked with blockchain technologies so that they can certify and be recognized between different universities and countries. This is another visual example from the Open Virtual Mobility platform. Both of these links still work, and the courses are free if you want to look over them and to develop some more skills. The idea is that you get, usually out of these MOOCs, you get certain types of badges which certify if you have a basic level or intermediate level or advanced level on a certain topic. Before going to Menti, this is one of the main reasons I wanted to use my own laptop, because I want to share with you some of the platforms. Okay, so this is Coursera. I'm logged in them, so maybe it's a little bit different than what you see on your platforms. And for this part, I ask you to allow me to sit down. So on Coursera, for example, you have a lot of suggestions. You have the popular topics, you have top-rated courses, you have skills. And let's look for one of the most popular courses. Let's look on this IBM Gen AI engineering, because it's also related to what Diana mentioned. So what you will see before enrolling, you see first that you can enroll for free. You see when it starts, the course, and you can see if it's included in, if you have the paid account, which I don't. But you see what you will learn. You see the outcomes, the curricula, and which can be more detailed, of course, depending on the course. You see the instructors and the institution who is offering the course, and some testimonials. And what is different, for example, when you want to have a degree, if you go to this part and choose, let's choose a topic. And let's see a master program, and let's see this one in cybersecurity from University of London. If you want to choose this sort of a program, it will offer you several. You see here there are 2 courses. And you can follow these courses, which then can stack up into a program. You see the tuition fees. You can see that there's quite a difference between free and this £10,000, which is what this online master program costs on Coursera. Okay, another platform which I want to showcase is edX, and here you can see these are the courses I was enrolled into, and this is one of the most popular courses ever offered in worldwide in MOOCs, the CS50's Introduction to Cybersecurity. This was extremely popular and still is. You can see when it starts, when it ends. You can earn a certificate from Harvard. Quite a challenge university at this time, but it will manage to go through. You see how many students are enrolled. You can see that we have quite a few number, more than 300,000 students. You can see some different information than on Coursera. For example, if there is any experience required, if it's self-paced or with different pacing times, how much time the program, the module takes. This is 5 weeks, and it's an estimation of 2 to 6 hours per week, and you can earn a certificate at the end as mentioned. And then you see again what you will learn, the instructors. Yeah, and if you want to, you can, if you don't want to buy the certificate, you can just audit the course. And that means you will scan through the learning materials, and you can participate usually in some discussion forums, but that's about it. You can see the difference. So if you want the certificate, it's $450. Still being a Harvard course, it's not that much if you think of it. Okay, let's move to the next one. FutureLearn, which is the British MOOC platform. This is the biggest MOOC platform in Europe, actually, and is also very nice with a lot of topics and let's see, courses which are different, academic writing in English, for example. And you can see also some similarities and discrepancies with other platforms. You can see how many people are enrolled. Again, 20,000 people, the duration, the number of hours per week. If you get a certificate, when eligible, usually means when you pay. And you can see the difficulty level. You can see if there are requirements, the educators, who developed, who is offering, and you can see, of course, in the beginning, there were not so many marketing information on these platforms, but now wherever you scroll, you will get this information on how much you pay. For example, this course is $50, 50 euros. So it's not, again, let's say it's low cost because it's University College London. Udacity was one of the beginners of the movement of MOOCs. I'm not going to show a lot of information on all of them, but I just want to mention that this then turned more for lifelong learners. So it's not so much for higher education than it used to be. It's now for lifelong learners in the different, how to say, industries which are related mostly with tech. And again, you can look in a course. For example, this is already a course where I have the lessons. I can just go through them. They are usually video-based and with extra reading material and other activities. Okay, let's... It's also, it depends on the local internet connection. So this is an example with integrated videos, and you have also possibility to download and the quiz. And you usually have on Udacity this sort of information over the video capture, where you can just answer you can give the answer. Udemy, which many of you know, is very popular because it opened to everyone as a teacher. So basically, on most of the other platforms, you needed to be part of university. You needed to have some sort of recommendation to create courses. On Udemy, anyone could, and that scaled up the possibilities, and it offered a lot of courses Some of them good, some of them questionable. But this is why it became so popular, because of the quantity of courses it offers. And also here you can scan through all of these courses, and you can see also the prices. The Udemy was one of the first which offered paid courses, because it opened to everyone. Of course, people wanted to create their course and to get money out of it as entrepreneurs, let's say. But you can see that you can have a preview of the course. I didn't share with the sound, but it's not relevant for this point. You see what you will learn. Okay, I will move faster because we don't have time to go through all of this. Canvas is a platform which is connected with other universities. This is just a course I wanted to showcase done by Harvard, and just so you see how it looks. It's not that different from other of these courses, other of these platforms. So you have slides for each of the sessions or videos if needed, and basically you go through this information and you have a quiz. Then LinkedIn Learning, which was previously Linda. It was the name of the platform. It was bought by LinkedIn. You have access if you have a premium account or if you pay. Only some courses are free. The main advantage is that since they bought this platform, when you finish one of these courses, it will certify on LinkedIn that you have a certain skill, which is something which employers are looking upon. Then we have Khan Academy, which, as I mentioned, it's mainly for K-12, but then it also extended to to other categories, also to lifelong learners. Let's see if we choose one of these courses. Again, you see the units, and you can follow these. It's more easy. I'm not logged in, but I can see, however, all this information, and this is more, let's say, accessible than in other platforms. And these I just want to show, as I mentioned, France Université Numérique, the biggest French platform, but it also has courses in English, not only in French. And actually, this is our own Polytechnica University's platform, Unicampus, which was built by our team and which offers a lot of very interesting courses. And you can sign up and follow some of them. They are in English, not only in Romanian. And finally, I wanted to show you on Iversity. We have this very nice course which we developed together with Diana and some other colleagues from other universities, Introduction to MOOC Design and Delivery, which has a lot of very good information if you want to create educational content, so not only MOOCs. For example, in the MOOC content production, you can find about the digital learning resources. You recognize Diana, and you can see not only this is called talking head perspective of the video presentation, with the slide in one side and the speaker in the other. But you can also see for each of these chapters some additional information and extra reading, and you can get a certificate from Iversity. This is free, so you don't need to pay for this if you want to follow it. Okay, I will stop with with presenting these platforms because we don't have so much time. And let's jump back in the presentation. Okay. So I will skip this question about which platform looks more appealing to you. It's on Menti. Okay, we can look afterwards. Very briefly, what research methods are used in MOOCs? At the beginning, the courses were analyzed and there were a lot of reports for the initial use, but then the research focused more on learning experience and how students are creating their own pathways and their own habits, which helped a lot with especially using machine learning. This was a little bit before AI, into developing better courses to fit the students' needs, because the one of the main purposes of MOOCs after the first years was not only to scale up, but to create this sort of personalized experiences, which will be now more will be better with the use of AI. Also, there were a lot of demographic analysis to find out if there are differences in way people are studying, depending on their cultural backgrounds. What's the one thing which is usually agreed upon about the research is that the completion rate of MOOC courses is between 10 and 15%. And this doesn't matter where you are from, or what background you have, or what the topic of the course is. That's the amount of people who are finishing these courses. So even if you saw that there are tens of thousands of people who are taking a course, it doesn't mean that all of them are finishing. The average is between 10 and 15%. What we have been doing together with my colleagues in UPT in MOOCs, in our teaching with higher education students, with bachelor and master students, is doing flipped classroom using OERs and MOOCs. And basically, the inverted learning model means that, I'm sure you are aware, that the students are doing the lessons, are watching the modules at home, and then we use the time face-to-face for discussions and for debates. We integrate as many OERs as possible, because we are also co-creating these OERs with our students, so we are encouraging that a lot. Because we don't do the teaching and in class, we do it beforehand, the students have more time for collaborative activities, and we have a lot of shifting to the problem solving and peer learning. And basically, if we try to do also the connectivist MOOC approach, this fosters the knowledge creation through social networks. So this is also connected. This sort of blended learning and flipped classroom approach offers our students more opportunities to work together and to work collectively. We have a lot of group projects which they can work upon, and especially in STEM technologies, we saw that this approach is quite successful with our students, and that they gain lifelong skills and digital literacy, which is something they will need for the rest of their lives. But also there is awareness and experimentation in a supervised environment, more or less. What's the usual activity which we do is we ask students to enroll in MOOCs, either our own or from a list. Usually we give a 20 or 30 courses list to them, and they choose which course they enroll to. Then they have to do a report which we grade. They have to assess the platform and the course from a usability perspective, from a pedagogical perspective, and they have a final questionnaire where they evaluate. And what we saw throughout the years was that most of the students did very well in this activity, and they consider this activity as positive. The questionnaires are anonymous, so we believe that this positivity is honest. I'm going to skip these parts. You will have the presentation afterwards about the pedagogical benefits of each of these activities. I just want to focus in the end of my presentation on student empowerment and on the autonomous way of learning, because we think that by doing this sort of activities with flipped classroom, we empower our students to giving them freedom to select through what courses they will develop, and choose what literacy skills they will develop, and to build the lifelong learning habits, because our team is a very strong promoter of lifelong learning. And now with the shifts in economy, with there are the hype words of reskilling and upskilling, which basically are part of lifelong learning. We want to promote this also to you as PhD students, autonomous learning, because it's the moment when you take the responsibility for what you choose to learn, and it has to do something also with your in inner drive and personal drive, not only the official studies which you need to do. And we would really like to see what motivates you. I'm going to skip through the theoretical part because I just want to point out some examples of practical strategies of autonomous learning. We encourage you to use this sort of reflective learning journals. We have been using this also in our E³UDRES Alliance, and students were quite found this quite supportive, because basically what you do is you document your learning, and you can write down what works for you, what doesn't. You take down some key points, so it's not just writing the theory which the students offer, which the teachers offer, but also your perspective and the methodology, your evaluation of the methodologies. And it said there is science which says that if you review regularly this sort of a reflective journal, the weekly, the knowledge retention grows by 35%, which is quite a lot. You can do it with Notion, with Google Docs, or you can just write it on, if you really want, you can write it down on a piece of paper. Another strategy are the peer discussion groups, and these are very important because the virtual communities are very supportive, and if you also have an accountability partner which you can exchange information with, then this would really support you through the learning process. And usually when you have an accountability partner, you feel more motivated to finalize the work, because this is what we want for the students, is to finalize what the work they are starting, because you feel some sort of social pressure if you have this accountability partner. Finally, the certification and motivation. We encourage you to celebrate when you get the certificate, when you get the diploma, put it on social media, put the micro-credential or badge on LinkedIn or on digital passport which you might have, and try to get these wins, to use these wins to build upon your future learning habits. And to end, because I'm a little bit over time already, we are really curious what motivates you. I don't want the food to get cold and to be the responsible for that. So, but before food, don't forget we will do the photo. What motivates you to complete an online course? So this is very important for us, because this we can see if this changes over generations. We saw already that it changes over generations. What motivated us 10, 20, 30 years ago does not motivate the students today, but there are still some intrinsic factors which still motivate students. So whenever Diana wants to switch the screens so we can see some results. So let's see. Personal or professional goals, learning a new skill or topic, getting a certificate, improving job prospects and career development. These are the ones which are most chosen. I'm happy that nobody chose the last one, that I often don't finish courses. Again, this is anonymous, so you can say if you want that you don't finish courses. So you are amongst those 10-15% of students. Of course, you are PhD students, so you should have higher motivation in studying. Yes, this is very interesting. Curiosity is also an important factor, as I saw. You can continue completing this. So for my final slide, I will share again. Since I managed to go very fast through this, if you have any other questions on MOOCs, I'm here the whole week, so just come and look for me, or you can contact me via LinkedIn or via my email address, and I can support you in any way you think I can. So thank you.